Going to take a deep dive into the US men's national team roster, which dropped yesterday. Nico, what are your overall thoughts about who Mauricio Pochettino has chosen for these Nations League games?
Only a couple of surprises, really. Brendan Aronson not being included in the list is the first name and probably the only big name that comes to mind. He is taking Patrick Agyemang. He is taking Brian White, two MLS players. But let's go back to the beginning of Mauricio Pochettino's tenure, where he said he is going to look towards MLS for some of these players. So there's a big opportunity there just because of the depth chart not having Flo Balogun, not having Ricardo Pepi, who's probably going to be the starting striker. It's an opportunity for two MLS players.
Yeah, the Brendan Aronson one is a bit surprising. I didn't expect Gio Reyna to be in there right now, and I'm looking around. Another guy I really like that was not put in there, Aidan Morris, is a guy that you could say I have a football crush on him, just from commentating a lot. Just two-way player, can defend and can move the ball well.
Nico, how will Mauricio Pochettino be approaching these Nations League games?
Yeah, to develop on the idea that he set out in the last couple of games. These are important games to get this team to click, to play well. Ultimately, does the result matter? I think it does, because you don't want to lose an official game to either Panama or Mexico in a potential final. But he's not going to get sacked. Like, the future of his job doesn't rely on beating Mexico in a Nations League final. What you want to see in Pochettino, and what he's probably going to take away from it, is the manners in which you play. And if you walk away from this Nations League better than the team was originally.
Yeah, there's pressure. You know, playing Panama, you have to win that game. If you don't win that game, for lack of a better word, vibes. You need to keep the good vibes going. And especially with, you know, my American friends, the US national team fans, they don't really give you, you know, any freebies. You have to win these games, and I think you need to win the final, or there's going to be a lot of backlash on that. You know, you said he's not going to be sacked, but the vibes aren't going to be right if he doesn't get this done, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there'll be a different perspective onto Pochettino going into the Gold Cup in the summer. Panama's a really good football team. With Christensen, they've shown a lot of progress, and they know how to treat the ball well. So it'll be a nice little test for the U.S., and if they can get by them, they should get by them. Meet Mexico in a final. You can never say that you shouldn't beat Mexico, right? Yeah. You have to beat Mexico.
It's a tough game.
But then that progress continues into the Gold Cup. So this is a very first step into the most important part, which is the next
Get to the final,
year,
then. Get to
right?
the final.
Get to the final of the Gold Cup. Get to the final of the Nations League. Compete as much as you can. See the team evolve and have them at their peak, ready to perform come 2026.
Well, exactly. That's what you need. He needs to be getting all this information on these players at the moment, build this togetherness within the group, because bigger picture, all our eyes are going to be on that 2026 World Cup, Nico.
Right, definitely, and there's not that
It's
much
not
time
far away,
to do
right?
it.
We're thinking the same thing. That's where the pressure comes from. There's not really a lot of time to tinker and find out things, but he needs to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be taken into account that has to happen.
And Pochettino's a manager that has a lot of tactical flexibility, right? He has these variants where he can change games. He can play 3 in the back. He can play 4 in the back. I mean, it's most likely it's going to be 4 with this U.S. team. But when push comes to shove and you need your manager to have a hand in the game to win in a quarterfinal of a World Cup, he has these variants that he only has a certain couple of games to try it out before World Cup 2026 comes around.
And Lloyd, there's one player in particular that you've been keeping your eyes on that you hope can really take their opportunity under Mauricio Pochettino as part of our Zillow new home search.
Patrick Agyemang, you know, he's a guy that I've been able to see a lot being in the Charlotte market. And, you know, it's been great for him. 2 games, he's got 2 goals, and he's so dangerous when he's in line with the last defender. As we saw with one of his goals for the national team, if he's isolated alone with the defender, he's going to get there if he pushes it. And he's got a great little move that he loves, pushing it onto his left side and really striking through that ball with the left foot. And, you know, he's really carrying the pride of Charlotte right now. I mean, him and Tim Ream. But, you know, he's there and the whole city is behind him, and they're delighted to see him in this spot.
How unbelievable is this guy's story? I mean, he made the most out of January camp, and I think because of that, Poch is giving him an option, given the lack of depth at the striker position. Lloyd, he played D3. I played D3. I shouldn't even be anywhere near the
You should be in the national team.
Not even anywhere near the national team.
Okay.
And I don't mean to dismerit this guy's career, right?
Yeah.
But it's incredible the leaps that you can take, even playing D3, making a name for yourself at Charlotte, impressing in a January camp. Do you see him having the potential of being a national team striker, or is it really because of the lack of depth that he's getting a shot?
I think it's the lack of depth that he's getting a shot. But once you get the shot, anything can happen. You know, he could come on, he could do anything in this moment. You know, I was asked a question before about who he compares to. I think he doesn't compare to anyone in the US setup. And that's what gives him a chance for maybe a possible World Cup down the line, because you can bring him on and the problems he's going to cause. He is relentless, even defensively. He says he wants to give centre-backs hell. So that's his mindset.
Nico, what about your player to watch?
For me, it's Chris Richards, especially in 2025. He's gotten a lot of consistent minutes for Crystal Palace. They've been playing better than they did in the first half of the season. And for him to be a stalwart in 2025, right? A constant for Crystal Palace, a Premier League team that competes week in, week out at the highest level, can only be good for the US. And if he's either going to partner with Mark McKenzie, we would imagine, but you got Austin Trusty and Cameron Carter-Vickers. There's a certain depth to the center back chart, which is important, but Chris Richards is going to be a key if the United States want to do well defensively, because he has the experience and he's grown into a different type of player ever since he's been getting consistency in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. We're just seeing his form here. And, 3 games without, you just feel as though they actually really need him. And like you say, he's in a great form at the moment. Should we take a look at the projected lineups for this game, shall we? Who else do you want to kind of see here? Do you think we've got this about right? We're talking about, injuries to that forward line. What would you make of this, Nico?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is Yunus Musa as a right winger, right? Because he has played there before. He's listed on the team sheet as a forward, but he's multifunctional. We know that. Perhaps Pulisic back out wide to the left, Weah on the right, and then you're going to have to find somebody in here. If it's either Musa, that's how I would mess around with it. I like Pulisic on the left rather than inside. Pulisic with space to run, he's shown that he can do damage, even at Milan on this right-hand side, where he can float on the right, but he can also go into the central channels. Josh Sargent, I want to see how he's doing because he deserves another shot. His club form is sensational. But every time he's been with the national team, he hasn't really taken those shots by the horn.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about my old teammate Tyler Adams in the middle, man. What a player. He's just gone on leaps and bounds. Obviously, he's had the injury issues, but look how well he's done at Bournemouth this year. I'm glad to see him back in there, and the mentality he brings to a midfield, he can do it all. Anthony Robertson, that left back, what a great season he's had in the Prem as well. It's a well-rounded team. I do like the Musa on the right wing is the only thing I'm like, what's that about? Switch those two.
Swap these two, and then Pulisic move him there and Weah move him
there. You go.
there.
I like that. Who put this together?
Well, we need to get Mauricio Pochettino on the phone, don't we?